This is where we take care of our home. We protect our house. Have fun, play together. Be confident. Believe you can do it. Let's go.
Destiny Walker drains the three.
That was deep. You can tell she has shot a million of these.
She's going to put her head down and drive her way to the rim. Peoples finds Gilbert in transition for a basket and a foul.
I like that.
Westbeld open. She'll track for three. Oh, it's all white twine for Maddie Westbeld.
You talked about the shooting, but how about the passing?
Wash, rinse, repeat. Mabry again. Oh my goodness. She has just been deadly here in this second half. And just like that, here come the Irish.
Welcome, everyone, to the Niele Ivey Show, brought to you by TireRack.com. And, Coach, we wanted to talk to you about all the games we played in the last 2 weeks, but there weren't any. But we can talk to you about the last game against Pittsburgh. What a terrific win for the Irish.
Yes, we were on that pause, so I didn't get a chance to play, but was excited to be able to get out, travel to Pitt, healthy enough to play, and it was just a great victory for us. Having sat for 15 days, we were just really looking forward to playing someone else, and so very blessed for that win and blessed to be able to play the game that we love.
Well, we're going to chance to talk about the breakdown of the game against Pittsburgh and the other things going on with the program. We've got to take a break, and then we'll be back with more of the Niele Ivey Show. We're glad you're with us. Welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show. We get a chance now for our breakdown segment, and it's brought to you by Meijer. And, Coach, what a big smile you've had on your face since getting back from Pittsburgh. Much deserved, and the work that you did with your team and your coaching staff during that time off. You weren't able to play, but you certainly were ready for that trip to Pittsburgh.
Yes, I credit working with such a great staff, medical staff. We did a great job of just trying to keep them as fresh as we could with that time off, try to take advantage of all the practices that we had last week to prepare, and just blessed to be able to play yesterday. So, extremely, excited for the win, but just happy to be able to get back on the floor.
There were some really great numbers that jumped off the page at me when I'm looking at the final score, for example. 48 points, that's the lowest you've held anybody to this season, and that is nice to have happen this late in the season when everybody's kind of getting in gear, and the communication was so good against Pittsburgh. Yes, absolutely. I felt like we held their best player ever to I don't think it's, a season low. I think she had 10 points under her average. That was a goal of ours. I really wanted to come out and stress the importance of playing great defense and competing defensively for 40 minutes. And so to be able to do that, that was definitely one of our defensive goals. So very happy with that performance defensively. Well, and you had some people that had to step up for you. Maddie Westbeld, another outstanding game. She should be up for a nomination again for maybe the Rookie of the Week in the ACC, but 20 points, her second double-double. She was also had 11 rebounds and really led the way. She was battling inside, which is important. I thought there were some pretty good assists also inside, but Maddie's just been real special. She absolutely was the player of the game yesterday. I thought she came out with a lot of poise, a lot of confidence. I think that time off helped her get really fresh. I thought she offensively was sound, took great shots, played really aggressive, and was, like I said, very confident. So I thought she had a great game, and I thought she did the job on the boards, and I thought she did the job defensively. I think she really used her strength down low and hit some key baskets from the perimeter last night. It was nice to see the work they did defensively inside with Michaela Vaughn getting 3 blocked shots in addition to 6 rebounds. So Mick was in there battling. Anaya had a good game, and I can't say enough about Dara. She wound up with 10 points and played 33 minutes of real solid defense. Absolutely. I thought we had solid production from our starters. I thought everyone, played together. I thought especially when we needed a bucket or a defensive rebound or a block, I felt like we were all, playing a really good job of just cohesive basketball. So very proud of Dara, Naya, Mick with the minutes that they brought. And then, I thought we had some great minutes from Destiny starting for us yesterday. And then obviously, Olivia coming off the bench, having 10 points and just getting really comfortable on the floor. So just really loved the spark that she gave us. Well, I'll tell you one thing that Destiny was really special. She was in double figures. She had 11 points. 6 rebounds, but she also had 3 steals and 3 assists. So she was doing it in all aspects of the game. It was good to see Caitlin Gilbert get back on the floor for the first time since December. Absolutely.
just told her right before the game, I just love seeing you in a jersey, having the opportunity to put her in the game. I thought she was also another a key spark for us off the bench, just her experience, her ability to score, rebound. She's long and athletic. I thought she got out in the passing lanes really well, and she just was a great spark for us.
Olivia Miles, 20-plus minutes for you again. She wasn't even with the program at the beginning of the month, and now she's eating up 20 minutes for you, and she was in double figures with 10 points. She had 3 assists as well, and I think she's earned a lot of respect, not only from her teammates, but from her opposition.
Oh, absolutely. I knew that she was a special guard, knew the impact that she was going to bring on our program. And it's just nice just to see her getting really comfortable with the offense and not having any, fear. She comes out there, she gives it her all every night. She's so coachable, and she's just going to be a special guard for this program.
We had a couple of players weren't able to make the trip to Pittsburgh, so you got to look down the bench and find some help. How about Danielle Cosgrove coming in, and she gave you almost 5 minutes of, again, some size and presence inside, and it's great to see her back and contributing.
I was so happy to see her back, and she basically does whatever we need, and I thought she gave us great minutes. She is such a great 3-point shooter, so she's gonna she does a great job of stretching us out to the 3-point line. Her size and experience I thought was really key, and I also felt like Amira did really, really great for us. I leaned on both of them yesterday, and I thought that they were both very solid for me.
Yeah, Amira had 2 points and 3 rebounds, played over 8 minutes for you. And
Yes.
Again, when you're looking down that bench, you're looking for somebody not just to come in and step in, but step up. And I thought they all did a pretty good job. We were consistent all through the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about, everyone having to do a little bit more with having a couple unavailable players. And I thought that they did that yesterday, had a couple different rotations, but I thought everybody stepped up and, fulfilled the missing pieces that we had.
Key win for you in conference play, beating Pittsburgh. You go to 7-6, which is now 5th place in the league. And usually the NCAA is looking, we're going to take maybe 6-7 teams. So we hope that's the way it works. But we still got some work to do. And again, having Florida State and Louisville left on the schedule is terrific. But the team has really played well. Even the loss to Louisville on the road was a terrific effort.
Yes, they realize where we are. The last 2 games of a regular season. This is a really big week for us. I think we've communicated about the magnitude of these last 2 games, and I'm just fortunate that we have 2 home games, our last 2 home games, and I'm praying that we can have 2 great games and 2 complete games. First up, Florida State, so that's the focus.
And, Coach, the schedule in the ACC is giving you the opportunity to have some big wins. You beat Virginia Tech twice. The team is getting a lot of recognition. You had other wins that gave you a pretty powerful resume coming out of the conference, and you still got a couple of big chances to improve on that. Usually the NCAA tournament looks at maybe 6-7 teams out of the ACC. We hope that happens. I know we have some work to do, but it's great to be in this position after a really tough year where some of the games were canceled.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this week, we have kind of communicated about how important this week is. It's a really big week for us, having 2 great teams at home. We're going to try to take care of these opportunities. And, first up is Florida State, want to take care of business and play a complete game. But I felt like our women have been very resilient this entire year with all the uncertainty, the protocols, and with COVID-19. So very proud of our effort. I feel like we have been just really locked in as a group, working together to get better. And again, fortunate to be playing and excited for what this week is going to bring. And we understand the magnitude of it. So just want to focus on one day and one game at a time.
It seems like there's been a lot of news, too, about our roster. And we've got a commitment from a young lady who's going to transfer in from Stanford, Maya Dotson. And what a terrific athlete she is. She had 24 starts at Stanford.
Oh, I'm so excited by Maya. She was somebody that, recruited as an assistant a couple years ago. So to have to come full circle to recruit her and then land her here, it has been another dream come true. So I feel like I'm really getting the pieces for the future. She is a phenomenal young woman and even better person off the court. So she's going to make a tremendous impact. So you expect big things from Maya.
One of the special days we have every year is our Pink Zone game. This year it's the Pink game. And we're going to get a chance to have that on Thursday. And I can't say enough about what the staff has done. And Charla and everybody's gotten involved, and they found a way to make this happen and be successful, even though we can't have all of our fans in for the walk around the court and all those special things. But there have been some ways for people to donate, to be involved, and also to send pictures in that'll be in the stands for the game against Florida State.
Yes, I'm so proud of my staff. I have such a tremendous staff to work with. Angie and Charlotte, they've done such a tremendous job of helping us navigate through these times this year, and just, wearing a ton of hats and doing jobs, that they normally don't have to do. So I'm just really fortunate for the support and love that they've poured into this team, this program, and myself. Been so helpful, and they're doing such a great job. I think they're going to make this senior night and Pink Zone night very special for our fans, for our team and our seniors, and just honored to be a part of it as the head coach, and looking forward to seeing some familiar faces in the stands, and, just being supportive for a great cause.
Coach, I know our fans who can't be there are going to be willing to go online and make a donation to the KEL Fund, and most of those funds stay in our area, and that's a good note as well. So we wish everybody well. Certainly, the battle against cancer is so important. But Coach, you got a chance to get a lot of things done here toward the end of the season, and we're looking forward to not only the rest of the year, but also the segments coming up here in the show. And we'll be right back with more of the Niele Ivey Show, brought to you by TireRack.com. And welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show, brought to you by TireRack.com. Time now for one of our special features. This is one we call Full Court Press, and Sam Brunell is going to spend some time with Nicole Benz. And this segment brought to you by Bowling Vision Center.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show. We are here. It's Sam Brunell and Nicole Benz for Full Court Press today. We are excited to have Benz on the segment. I've been really looking forward to this one for quite some time. For those of you who are not familiar with Benz for some reason, she is a senior here on the women's basketball team. She's been a 4-year member of the basketball team. However, her story is quite unique because at one point, Benz was in a role of being a manager. So speaking of that role, let's talk a little bit about, I guess it was 3 years ago now? Was it about 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago in 2018 when we had the 3 ACL tears within the team. Benz got a unique opportunity to kind of go from manager to player because they just needed more numbers. She got a ring that year, and I believe the story was you went back to being a manager and then back to being a player again, right?
Yeah, back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little versatility, right?
Absolutely. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about kind of how that year was, especially because that was your freshman year, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about how that was for you.
Sure. Well, kind of coming into Notre Dame, I didn't really know what I wanted to make my thing in college, because I'd played, sports my whole life, been on teams in high school, and coming to college for the first time and not having that for the first few months of school was just really weird for me. So I was definitely looking for a way to get involved. And then I kind of stumbled into realizing, you could be a manager with, the sports program, maybe even the basketball team, just because I'm a huge fan. I've been a fan of the team for so long. So I was able to get in contact with people. And then after that kind of led to going on to walk-on tryouts, which they had, because for the first time in, I don't even know however many years. And so went there just hoping maybe see some of the players or see where they practice or maybe get a glimpse of Coach McGraw. That was kind of where I was at with that. And ended up getting to kind of come back and practice the team a couple times, and then was ultimately cut after those tryouts, but became a manager through that. So I got to be around the team all year, kind of getting the lay of the land and just helping out in practice, whether that meant wiping up sweat or sometimes running out onto the court if they needed another person to do drills, just things like that. And then I remember when the transition from, manager to player first happened, it was after I think a couple of those ACL tears you talked about, which were obviously unfortunate. But it was I was coming back from math class one day and I get a text saying Coach McGraw wants to see you in her office. And I'd never been to her office before. I thought I was about to get fired. I wasn't sure what I did. But she basically just asked if I could walk on the team and stay over break and practice with the team. Because as you know, the practice guys aren't there. So we definitely need, 5-on-5 numbers to be able to go 5-on-5. And kind of the rest was history that season. I got to be a part of an incredible ride and meet some amazing players. I still can't really believe it sometimes. And just be a part of the program in whatever way I could.
Absolutely. And, talking kind of about how you're so unselfish. You're probably the most unselfish player that I've ever had the chance to play with. And I'm sure everybody else can say the same about you, Nicole. But, you know, after kind of learning and, you know, being a manager and what that role is, how has that impacted and, you know, kind of created your experience to being a player?
Sure. I think the key part of being a manager is just your job is to do all of those little things that nobody notices unless they're not done right and not done well. And I know you probably see, you know, all the hard work the managers put in, given that your roommates won. Maggie's awesome. But just kind of seeing all the little things they do, whether that's, you know, folding the towels or, you know, wiping up sweat off the court or getting the drinks ready. Like there's all of those little things that like really help practice and games run so smoothly and just the program overall. And kind of just translating that to being a player, like being a good teammate is about like, you know, what you can do for those around you to like make their lives easier, whether that's, you know, giving them a high five, a pat on the back, things like that. So I think just what you're doing to help the team changes depending on the role. But I think the end goal is the same of just, you know, helping the team doing whatever is needed, regardless of, you know, what your official title is.
Absolutely. You are so on point with that. And I tell you what, Benz, you have really inspired me as a player to do those little things. And I know, you know, I've got a lot of work to do to reach the potential that, you know, that you kind of set for us, but just know that you are a huge inspiration to all of us and especially me. So thank you.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, moving forward kind of in your journey. So freshman year, got moved to the player position from a manager, went back to manager, back to player. And, you know, fast forward to this year, you got surprised with a scholarship. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that felt and kind of, you know, how that experience was?
Sure. That was on the Zoom over the summer. We were playing like that game, the one that James set up, like Wheel of Fortune. And I was like the last one to go. And I was like really stressed because we were like two teams. And if I guessed it right, then our team won, like all of that. So I had like no idea what the word was. They were like Notre Dame themed. So I was thinking like, oh, it might be like Golden Dome or like this or that. But kind of on theme with the rest of them, like what they had been. And then the letters started to pop up and I had like no idea what it said. And I was like stressed because like I wanted our team to win. I had no idea what was coming. And then the little letters popped up and says like, you know, congratulations, Nicole, on your full scholarship. And I like had to read it a couple of times. And I don't think I got it until like they had me read it out loud. And then I saw everyone's face and I was like, oh, this is actually happening. But I think the best part was like, even though we were kind of virtually over Zoom, was that I got to share that moment with all you guys. Just because seeing everyone's like genuine excitement just like meant the world to me. Because I love you guys and I'm so blessed to be your teammates.
Well, we love you so much too, Benz. So much. You know, it's going to be sad after this year's over and we don't have Benz running around with us. It's going to be different for sure. But kind of changing gears a little bit,
Sure.
You know, talking kind of about Notre Dame and like academics and, you know, you're a computer science major, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard, I think you've told me this, that you actually have a job already set up for you, right? For after.
Yeah. So I'm going to be working in Chicago after graduation, which I'm really excited about.
That's great. So what does your job actually entail that you'll be starting up?
Sure. It's a role in like strategy management consulting. So to the best of my knowledge, it's kind of like working in a team of like other consultants at various kind of levels. So like some recent hires, some like more experienced people to help kind of businesses solve their problems is kind of the vaguest way to put it. And basically the general line of work in consulting is just it depends is the answer to every question. So whether that's kind of helping a company like implement a new like resource management system to like make their business more efficient or just helping them enter a new market or like things like that. I'm excited. I think what drew me to it was kind of the opportunity to kind of work with people and work as part of a team. Because that's been something I've enjoyed so much, you know, with sports throughout my life. So even though that team is going to look a little bit different than maybe it has in the past for me, I'm excited to kind of see what the future holds there.
Absolutely. That's so exciting, Benz. I'm so excited for you and like what's coming with your future because Benz is big and bright things. And that's like always how it is for you. And I love that so much. You work so hard to get everything that's like coming your way. And it's just amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Thanks, Sam.
Of course. Kind of backtracking a little bit, though, going back to, I think it was the year before I got here. So the 2018-19 season.
Yeah.
You also had a moment where you got surprised with the Elite 90 Award, which is an award that's pretty much given to the athlete who has the highest GPA in the championships. Talk about how that moment was. I'm sure it was very special for you and for everybody else that was in that room.
Yeah, definitely not something I was expecting. I honestly didn't even really know it was a thing. I didn't really know what was coming when they, sat us all down. Because I'm a pretty shy person. I kind of fly under the radar. So I wasn't I didn't really even realize they wanted me to go up at the beginning. When they called my name, I was like, what's going on? But just being able to represent Notre Dame, which is kind of the ultimate place that kind of blends academics and athletics in such a powerful way. And I'm sure you've seen this as well in your classes and in your time here. But just being able to really embrace yourself fully in both academics and athletics is, I think, something that's really special here. And just really kind of develop your potential to the fullest in both respects has been something that's, so great about Notre Dame.
Absolutely. That's great. And, a little bit more about kind of Notre Dame and, you've been able to be a 4-year resident on campus, right?
Oh yeah. McGlynn Hall all the way.
Which dorm are you in, Benz?
I'm McGlynn Hall. So that's west side of campus.
Okay. Did you actually follow through with being an assist or an RA? Did you get to do that?
No, I didn't. I decided it would be too difficult, just kind of given our travel schedule and everything going on. But a lot of my former roommates are. So it's great to see them kind of doing their jobs and getting to kind of just be a part of dorm life still, even in kind of a weird COVID year.
Right. And, kind of talking about how dorm life is, what's it been like to go from freshman year in the dorms to now senior year, and especially in a year of COVID? Sure.
It definitely has a different look and feel this year just because of all the restrictions and social distancing and stuff. But I think the general spirit is the same. Something I really loved my freshman year was just that immediate sense of community the dorms provided. And just getting to know older girls really helped me figure out, what I wanted to do with my college journey, what I wanted to study and even where I wanted to work kind of in the future. So just hopefully kind of being a presence for the younger girls in that way too. It's just nice because I feel like one of the best things about Notre Dame is that sense of community. And I think the dorms are a really strong place for that to develop.
Absolutely. Well, Benz, I'm sure everybody enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about you as a person, not just a player, and kind of your story. And, that's the whole point of this right here is so people get to, learn more about you and kind of your story. It's the things that people don't always just see, right?
Yeah.
And so lastly, I like to end every segment with rapid fire questions.
All right.
So completely random questions, simple yes or no, or not yes or no, but you choose one or the other and it'll be super fun.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it.
Perfect. All right. First one I got for you. Cold or hot?
Cold.
Lake or beach?
Lake.
North dining hall or south dining hall?
South.
Okay. Green or blue?
Green.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Ketchup or mustard? Answer this right.
I got you.
Yes, that's my girl. Ketchup for the win. Okay, you and Olivia are the only ones who have answered that correctly.
Really? I feel like other people might just do it to mess with you.
That is the only question that actually has the right answer, and people don't realize that. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Sun or moon?
Moon.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Cane's or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
And then last one, water or Gatorade?
Water.
Yes, Benz. Great answers.
Right answers? Nice.
Great answers. Well, thank you again, Benz, for joining us tonight here on Full Court Press and being a part of the Niele Ivey Show. And thank you, everybody else who's tuned in and listening and for taking time to, listen to our segment and get to know Nicole Benz a little bit more. Go Irish.
And welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show. It's time now for one of our special features. It's called From Distance, and it's brought to you by TireRack.com. Lynette Wookie, our host, will get a chance to talk with our head coach, Niele Ivey, and also a very special guest this week, Tamika Perry.
How are you doing, everybody? My name is Lynette, and I am the host of From a Distance with Lynette. And today I have the wonderful Coach Ivey of the women's basketball team with me, and also a special guest, Tamika Perry, a local South Bend artist who created shoe designs for our women's basketball team in order to raise awareness and show support for racial equality and social justice. Thank you both for being with me today. How are we feeling?
Feeling great. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this. And to kick it off, I mean, this is perfect because ACC Unity Week versus Louisville at home, our last regular season home game. And we have these new shoes that you, Tamika, designed. And Coach Ivey, I was kind of wondering, can you kind of tell us, I mean, I know the women's basketball team at Notre Dame has a history of showing support for social justice movements and being really adamant about using your platform. So can you tell us about this project and why it's kind of continuing that tradition?
Yeah, so we're excited about this project, and can't wait to hear Tamika and just her thought process and how the whole process went for her. But with us, with the women's basketball team, we've always done a really great job of kind of trying to use our platform, like you said, to talk about social justice. And this was a way for us to kind of represent that in our attire, our shoes, something that, our youth and our South Bend community and the world could see on display. And so it was just a creative way to kind of individually have a message for our support and awareness for social justice.
That's awesome. And I mean, Tamika, I know one of my favorite people, Tim O'Connor, he works here at Notre Dame, found you as a local South Bend artist. So can you kind of tell me about that initial meeting, how this idea got started, how he found you, that whole story?
So that story was very interesting. I got a text from a number that's not in my contacts saying, hey, can I pass your number along? And I thought, sure. I'm not really sure who this was, but I knew when I get texts like that, it's probably something business related. And so then I got a text from Tim and Josh saying, hey, we're looking for a local artist. We're wondering if you're interested in this job. So we set up a meeting with the coaches and we all spoke about the project and what the whole idea entailed. And I was surprised that they wanted the artistry done on shoes. So I was a little like, well, first of all, how do you guys hear me? Because this sounds like something that you don't need a local artist to do. Like you could hire somebody great and who's in Chicago or, California.
You are great. Whoa,
I feel that way. I do. But, normally I'm not a known name. So I thought that was very, very great of them to want to try to reach out to somebody local. And so apparently when they reached out and they were looking for an artist, quite a few people said, hey, have you heard of Tamika Perry? And I was very touched.
So you are well known again.
I'm known in some circles. Like I guess you don't really know how far your reach might be, but I didn't think it was very far, but I was very happy and grateful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I was really excited also when they said they were using a local artist. So yeah. Clearly you're very talented. I've seen the shoes and they're awesome.
Thank you.
But Coach Ivey, can you kind of tell me what your biggest priority was in making this shoe? I mean, obviously you got a great artist. So then what was kind of the next step?
Yeah, I mean, I think highlighting Tamika to me was the most powerful part of the project because like she said, like if you're being on this platform in Notre Dame women's basketball, ACC, the profile is very big. And I feel like it's an honor to be able to wear her design and for the world to kind of see this local star, and hopefully shed more light into what she does and who she is as a person and how impactful she is in our community. So that was important to me to empower her, just like I've been empowered. And her design, having it on our shoe, again, wearing that in the game, having a message, and each player had an individualized message on their shoe, which I thought was very, very special. And it's something that our team is very proud of. They're so excited to be able to unveil their shoe in that moment. And again, Black History Month, Unity Week. So many different messages throughout the project. And again, I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was super cool that all the players kind of got to pick their own word on their shoe. Is that correct? I think that's so super cool. And I was like, dang, I want a pair. Do I get one too as leprechaun? No.
It's funny. I had to fight off my cousins and my sister. Like, no, these aren't for you. But, everyone really liked the idea of being able to kind of customize that. And I think at first we were kind of worried with the timeline we had if we'd be able to do something like that. But I thought, let's go for it because, everyone's view on social justice is different. And it's important that their message to social justice is also represented, even though that's the theme of the whole project.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, we talked so much about it. So can we get kind of from Tamika a short description of the shoes? Like, what do they look like? You hand painted them, correct? So just
correct.
Like what they look like, kind of what your artistic process was.
Well, in the beginning, in talking with the team, we really wanted to nail down a vision that I think represented something, as a symbol. And so when I got the words from them, I got what was important, what the message was, especially the future of social justice. I did think for a while, like what could really represent that? What could represent hope, unity, love, and all the other words that, the team put out there, but as well, what could represent social justice? And so the fist came to mind, and that's kind of, a standard symbol for social justice. But then, I thought, well, the heart represents everything else, like the hope and everything. So I thought, well, what if the fist is the hand that beats the heart? I've got to find a way to combine those. So wow. sketch after sketch after sketch. And I tried with, this heart, and I said, that's not the real heart, the beating heart. So then I started playing with the actual heart, and I combined the fist inside the heart. And I said, I think this is it. So after a while I sent them over and, to get approval to see if they like that design. And that's where that one came from. And then we kind of branched off from there to the other shoe, which that one went on the right shoe. And on the left shoe, we wanted kind of the protest feel of what social justice represents, the peaceful one. And so behind the protest is the word each team member wanted on their shoe. So you had a crowd of people that were standing up for social justice, but then they're standing up for unity, or they're standing up for Black Lives Matter, or whatever it is that they're standing up for. That's what's represented on the other shoe.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, these sound awesome. And I mean, you kind of talked about it already, that you made so many designs, threw them away, made more designs, as I'm sure every artist does. But can you talk, either of you, about the shooting shirt, which I heard was one of the designs that you made, and then it got put onto the shooting shirt with a saying on the back. So can you talk about that a little bit as well?
Sure. Coach, would you like to, or shall I?
You can.
Okay. Well, that was one of the submissions. So again, with the idea of social justice being focused on the future of social justice. And I sent a hopeful little girl, looking hopeful towards the future. And so she's wearing a Notre Dame jersey. And we wanted that to kind of be an option with the shoes. And they were like, well, I like that one for the shirt, and we like the other one for the shoes. So, and seeing that one, they're like, it would be really cool if there was a way we could do both. And we kind of said, well, let's see if we can. And then we did.
And then on the back, it says, we hope, we inspire, we believe. And Coach Ivey, I think that was kind of your brainchild. So what does that saying kind of mean for you in women's basketball?
Yeah, I mean, especially for me, in the little girl having the hope of, Black girls, for me, looking up to me, having representation, and how much that matters. And so we hope, we inspire, we dream, and we believe is just basically who I am as a person. And I'm hoping that, the young generation, as they're looking at our players using their platform and inspiring and impacting the world in our community for sure, but the world, I'm hoping that that picture kind of reflects, and that quote kind of reflects of what we're trying to do as far as inspire everyone to hope and to believe and to dream bigger than what they are at this current moment.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I feel inspired. These are going to be awesome shoes, and I'm really excited to see the shooting shirt as well. And I mean, if you both could kind of sum it up, how does it feel to have this few month-long project kind of come to fruition and get to see it at the game?
Well, I'll start because I've been really inspired by Tamika, and just knowing her and having meetings with her and seeing the vision, her listening to the messages from our coaches and the team, and for her to bring those visions to life has been really powerful. So I want to say thank you and honor you for what you've done for our program, and just hopefully you understand and realize like the magnitude of what you've done, and hopefully it can continue to inspire a lot of people. So thank you.
No, thank you. I feel the thanks are in order on my end. I really think that every artist dreams of an opportunity like this. It's something that you not only want to do for other people, but to be able to have a bit of yourself also impacting the message. It's the words are not really there to describe it. COVID last year was crazy. And so wanting this year to be not last year, I couldn't have dreamed of a bigger opportunity than this one. So I thank you and your team and every staff member that was involved in this. It's amazing. I enjoyed the process. It was different because I don't really paint on shoes, but I knew I could. And I think it's just amazing that the team trusts me with that, to see the work that I've did and then say, well, can you do that on shoes? That's a lot of faith. And for it to be pulled off and look good and they actually like it, I can't describe how happy that makes me feel.
Awesome. That's amazing. I feel very inspired. Well, thank you both, you ladies, for coming on the show and just talking about this. Good luck at the game. I can't wait to see the shoes and the shirts in action. And as always, thank you everyone for watching from a distance with Lynette. See you guys later.
Now we move along now in this edition of the Niele Ivey Show with a very special feature we like to call Catching Up. It's brought to you by TireRack.com. Now, Coach Niele Ivey gets a chance to visit with Tamika Catchings.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Niele Ivey Show. Our segment right now is Catching Up with Coach Ivey. And I am here with Tamika Catchings, the All-American, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, my former teammate and amazing friend. Thank you for blessing the show. How are you? What's going on in your world?
Wow, I'm on the Niele Ivey radio show. That's what's going on. This is awesome. I'm great. I'm great. It's amazing. We're somewhat in the middle of free agency, getting ready for our upcoming season amongst all the other things that I got going on in my life. But got it good. I am blessed to be here, excited about another year. And it's always I'm always excited about somewhat being in your presence, so this is great.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Same. I'm going to start off with your, new position. 2019, you were named the GM of the Indiana Fever, one of the best WNBA organizations. And just wanted to say congratulations, first off. I know I texted you during that time, but what an honor. I'm witnessing history always with you. How was that moment for you, as far as all the time and work you put into that organization, bringing them their first WNBA championship? Just talk about that moment.
It's just been surreal, honestly. I just think, and not only for my position, but even for you, being named the head coach of Notre Dame, women's basketball team, the history that you put in, all the things that you accomplished. And I think for both of us, being able to be a part of the legacy that we've been a part of. And, you're kind of creating your own legacy. And I go back and I just think about the first year I got drafted to Indiana back in 2001, and I knew nothing about Indianapolis. I knew Indiana like I knew the movie Hoosiers and what everybody. I knew they played basketball here, but other than that, I really didn't know much. And this city is amazing. Our fans are awesome. The community, what we've been able to do, my sister and I with our Catch the Stars Foundation, it's just been great to do all of the other things. And then you get to the basketball, right? And being able to be successful, being able to win a championship, and going back to the finals. We went total 3 times, coming out with 1. But now being on the other side, I love the challenge. And I don't know from the coaching side, Niele, you'll have to talk about that. But from my side, I love the challenge of being able to put together a team and get the right players. And, now I just had a meeting with the coaches and really starting to look at the draft and what's going to happen this year. And of course, this year is a unique year just because of seniors can opt in to the WNBA or they can opt in to another senior year. And so it's just there's so many unique things going on, but I smile because I'm just I am excited about the journey that we're on. I'm excited the team that we're putting together, just recently signed Lindsey Allen back to Indiana. So,
Yes.
oh yeah, all the Notre Dame fans, you guys can come and check her out. But the point guard position, coming into free agency this year, we had 5 free agents, and you're one of your own, Natalie Charmwood, being one of those on the list. But coming out of free agency, going into free agency, you're always like, okay, like unrestricted free agents have the option to go anywhere they want to, and restricted free agents, we have a little bit more flexibility. But we have 5 unrestricted free agents, and really like the journey through that. This is my first year having to go through it, so I was just kind of like, you get sad, right? When players leave, you get sad. But like from my standpoint, because I was a player and I understand the business side from the organization and from the player side, just really happy at where our players were able to go. And I know Nat, like she's going to be amazing in Minnesota because of the person that she is and the player that she is.
Yeah. I'm happy that you talked about Lindsey Allen, because that was my next question. As far as being a GM and trying to find, like you said, the right pieces, to continue the tradition with the Fever, what was something that stood out to you? What was one of the reasons why that was somebody that you kind of targeted?
Well, I've been watching her. I've been watching her in her collegiate career at Notre Dame, and then of course professionally, just the way, and I told her this, the way she carries herself. She has like a quiet strength about her that, sometimes you look at point guards, and all point guards are different, all players are different. But I like that she doesn't get too high or too low. I like that, when you watch her play, even last year, she played in the finals, the WNBA finals. And so you watch a player like her started leading that team, knowing how to distribute the ball, get, the right positions, the right plays, and just being able to really control the game from her position. We have a really young team, a really young core group. And one of the things in going into free agency this year for me was finding leadership, more leadership, and then really looking at, when we lost Erica Wheeler, it became, okay, like that point guard position is really glaring. We got Julie Alamán, of course, and she had a fantastic year last year in the bubble. And then you got Kathleen Doyle still trying to figure out her, her rhythm in the WNBA. But we have a strong gaping hole from the point guard position. And Julie, like it's an Olympic year, and she's on the Belgium national team. So, yeah, there's some holes there. And so we started looking at point guards in the league that we could go after, and that would be a great fit. With the leadership, with the culture that we're building, and not building, but the culture that we're creating. Championship mentality, and she has that championship mentality. When I talked to her, and I asked her the other day on the phone, I said, okay, so like tell me this, when you get excited, where will I know you're excited? Because I get excited, I'm excited, like my hands start moving, my face, I can't help show how excited I am. And like even watching her, some of the interviews we had to do, we've done together, and talking on the phone, I'm like, are you excited? I'm very excited. Like, well, can I get a little bit more? Like, but I knew that we knew that in watching her. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get that out of you. She was like, no. When I get excited, I talk really fast, and my voice might change. I'm like, okay, so I can't wait to get that from her.
Love that, and that's exactly, you're spot on with her leadership. She's never too high or too low. She did a phenomenal, right when she stepped on campus, she just was the leader, hardest worker. And so I think she's going to be great for you guys. So I love that she's back with the Fever, obviously me being a part of the Fever. So I'm definitely, if we are allowed to, going to come up and watch and support. So thank you.
Of course you're allowed. She's following in your footsteps. How about that?
I can't wait to watch. I cannot wait. So thank you for that acquisition with Lindsey Allen. All right, let's talk about you, Tamika. All-American, won on all levels, national champion, Olympic medalist. You're an entrepreneur. You have your own business, Tease Me, right? Is it called Tease Me? So you have a tea shop, cafe in Indianapolis. You've done it all. So talk about the keys to success. How have you been so successful?
Wow, man, we're supposed to keep this light, right? Like we're going success. I think the challenge is early on. So, my story a little bit, but I was born with a hearing disability. So I wear hearing aids. I have my AirPods in right now, so don't hold that against me. But I think growing up with a hearing disability and really having to figure out how to succeed with that, I threw my hearing aids out when I was in second grade, and really like learned 4 things right away. I learned how to read lips. I learned, well, not learned, but I started sitting in the front row of every one of my classes so that I could read my teacher's lips. Mm-hmm. I would read chapters before I went to class, just hoping that the teacher would cover something that I read. And then I would stay after class and, of course, got named the teacher's pet, but it was more so because when the teacher turned around on the chalkboard, I couldn't see their lips. So I literally had to fill in the blanks of some of my papers and my notes. And so having to learn that early, and that went from second grade all the way to my freshman year in college. Mm-hmm. And we moved around a lot. We did a lot of different things, but Pat was the one that actually got me back in the way of my hearing aids. And I think having to go through that time really taught me how to succeed. Mm-hmm. And so now, like, that's really where sports came in, because sports was a place where whether I could hear or not, I could practice. I could get better and better and better. And I could just consistently keep working on my game. So the gym, soccer was my first sport, softball was my second sport, basketball was actually my third sport. But really learning and developing those skills early, that's where sport came in, really being able to compete and wanting to compete to win. And then, of course, like now in the world that I'm in, it really is, I just want to be the best. I want to be the best at everything that I do, not compared to anybody else. And really, like, every day I want to be better. And so, like, being an entrepreneur, being a commentator, sitting on some boards, my sister and I with the foundation, with the tea shop, here with the Fever, like, and it's not really just about me. I think now I'm in a really good position in being the GM to be a servant leader and be able to help our players figure out while they're playing what's next and start kind of helping them get to that level, because you can be great in basketball. Like I feel like for myself, I was the best version of myself. I probably could have been better. Now that I'm commentating and I'm watching games and all that, because I didn't really enjoy film as a player, but I see the game a lot different. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just every day, for me, every day, I just want to be the best version of myself in whatever it is that I'm involved in.
That's so inspiring. And I felt like I was always a fan of you from afar, and was happy that we didn't see y'all in your time. I was so happy about that. But when we were drafted together and working out with you and being your teammate and seeing the way you worked, you came back from your ACL, your rookie season, and then you came back the next year and you just dominated the league in every category, in every practice. I've never, not one time have I been a part or have seen anyone work harder than you. No one. Like, the most relentless player, the best teammate, made us all, you have a humble spirit, but your greatness always was so bright. And so that's the one thing, it's just inspiring to hear your story, but also just the people that are listening. I always was inspired by you and empowered by you. And I've always just watched you from just watching you, like this, she's like the best of all time, and I had the opportunity to be around you, for even 4 or 5 years, however long it was. But just the impact that you've had on the game of basketball, and you're just amazing. So I'm honored to be talking to you, and just the fact that, the listeners and people from Notre Dame could actually hear you. And, I just don't think people realize, how great and special you are. And you're even a better person. Like, I remember just dropping Jaden off. I'm like, I need a break. I just need to go take a nap. Tamika, can Jaden come over? I got him. Go take a nap. So the sisterhood, I always cherish the bond that we have and the friendship that we have, and just appreciate you so much and what you've done for the game, and how many people, men and women, you've inspired. Jaden looks up to you. You've inspired so many people in my little circle. So just want to say thank you for that and honor you for who you are as a person.
Thank you. And I feel the same way about you. Honestly, like, and we laughed about, oh my gosh, the Niele Ivey radio show. What? Like, it's awesome. But let's go back to the beginning and let's talk about that. Like, when Jaden, happened, Jaden happened, right? And going through those early years, but you never wavered, and you always strive to be at your best. And, I think a lot of players, especially they waver because of the things that are going on off the court, and like, oh, the relationships and the social media now and the mental health, and like there's so many different areas that are part of life. But can you imagine what our life would have been like had that been going on when we were playing?
Right.
But we had other things. There were other things, and I feel like you did a great job of, being able to just be a constant professional, be a great mom, family first, and really teach us. You talk about like you taught us how to live and how to be, and like you're right about the sisterhood. That is what I miss about playing. People ask all the time, like, what do you miss not being on the court? No, not at all. But I miss the road trips. I miss the family time, sitting in the living room, riding on the bus, like traveling on the plane. I miss those times, but we still have the relationships and the friendship because we all kind of in our own spaces. When we come together, it's like we never left.
Yep. I always talk about how no matter what the record was, like that was the most fun and close team I probably ever had, outside of college, obviously, but just, we had so much fun. Bridget Pettis, Olympia, like so many fun times, fun road trips. It was,
oh my gosh.
Kelly Schumacher. It was so much fun, the times that we had.
That was the first time. Think about it. That's the first time I had to play with somebody from UConn. And I remember, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
She was my roommate. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, of all the apartments, we had to room together for 2 weeks. And then we ended up being great friends, best friends. So it's funny.
That's what it's all about.
No. So my last question, I thought of this coming into work was just maybe talk about just your probably most moment with Pat Summitt, somebody I respect. And obviously I know that what she means to you, a life lesson you learned from her, or just a special moment. I think our fans would love just hearing a story.
It's crazy because when I think of Pat, I don't think of like a moment.
Okay.
Like I talked a little bit, she got me into wearing my hearing aids, and that was definitely a moment. And the story behind that. But, like the thing that I always say about her is even coming into Tennessee, the way that she recruited us, and I remember her and Howie and Mickey and Al, like I remember them coming to my house and having like the recruiting visit. And, some schools is like, oh, like, the jerseys and the announcements and all the different things. But her visit was just so different. And going 4 years with her, and just like, how you're watching people without watching them. Mm-hmm. Like you're always conscious of them being in the room, or conscious of what they're doing or what's going on around their space, but you're not deliberately like watching them. But Pat always said, like, we're going to be great in the classroom, we're going to be great on the court, and we're going to be great in the community. And that was like something that she always preached. But then she would always say, but beyond all of that, we're going to be great people. And I mean, you've seen this with Muppet, like the way she was, and like Pat, like her humbleness, her openness, humility, her quiet but strong confidence. I don't know, like the thing. I mean, I remember like watching her, and she had book signings, and then practice, and then interviews, radio interviews, TV. I mean, like the whole night. You've seen it with Muppet, like you've seen it. You're going through it now, but it was like she treated the last interview like it was her first interview. And when she came to the door, anywhere we went, people, oh my gosh, like Pat Summitt, like they would run. And she would make everybody feel like they were the most important person in that moment. And that's how I want to be. Like, I want to be like that. I want everybody, when they're around, and, and she was really in the moment. When she was there, she was with you. And of course, like, no matter, and I know I have to do better, because this looks good from the top up. This desk is covered with stuff like that. I would jump to the next thing, to the next. But, in that moment, she just made you feel like you were the most important thing in the moment. And not that you weren't after that moment, but it was just, I don't know. She just had that special trait about her.
I love that. Taking notes, trust me. She's definitely somebody that I've looked up to. Obviously, you just mentioned Coach McGraw, but just some powerful women that have changed this game. And you are another powerful legend, GOAT, that has changed this game. I honor you, and I thank you for being such an amazing friend and for joining us today. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
On the Niele Ivey radio show.
Radio show. Yes. Thank you. Love you, Catch.
Love you too. Thank you.
And as we wrap up this edition of the Niele Ivey Show, it's time for our look ahead, sponsored by West Bend. And Coach, we've got a key part of the schedule still to come. We've got Florida State coming in on Thursday, and then we've got Louisville coming in on Sunday. It's nice to have enough schedule left to really make a difference.
Absolutely. You know, we're just really excited to be at home. We haven't played a home game in a month. And so excited to be back, in the Purcell Pavilion. And have two great opponents. Florida State coming off a huge victory versus Louisville. So it's going to be really tough. But again, just excited to be able to go out and play and to play on our home court. So excited for Thursday. Really interesting that Florida State just beat Louisville. And we get a chance to play Florida State first and then the Louisville Cardinals. Both exceptional teams. I think Florida State's got some things that they do really well, as does Louisville. But we played really good defense in our last time out. So it's something to be optimistic about. Oh, absolutely. You know, just kind of focus on trying to get better every day. Was really excited to be able to get our rust off a little bit, from sitting from 15 days, last night. Really excited about our win last night. And again, just looking forward to another opportunity. Florida State is an incredibly talented team, have great inside-outside presence led by Morgan Jones. So we have a battle ahead of us as far as defensively, but excited to take on that challenge. It won't be long. We'll be talking tournament time with the ACC tournament coming up in Greensboro in another week or so. Coach, it's been outstanding being with you again, and I wish you all the best. Good luck this week. Thank you. Go Irish.